What is up, everyone? Welcome back to our lawn and welcome to 2024. And it's been a weird one. It has been 70 multiple times already here in 2024 here in southeastern Wisconsin. And not just here, I'm sure the warm weather has gotten a lot of you thinking about springtime and what you're going to do in your lawn. So today what we're here to do is talk about everything that you need to do in the spring to get a head start on making sure that you have a nice yard for the whole season. So let's talk about it. And so like I said, everything you need to do, we're going to throw up on the screen right now. You might be thinking to yourself, you must have forgot to do that during editing. No, I didn't. There is nothing that you must do in the spring. Nothing. You do not need to go out and rake. You do not need to dethatch. You do not need to core aerate. You do not even need to put down a pre-emergent, and you certainly don't need to fertilize. If you just mow and water when necessary like you would any other time of year, you will end up with a yard that you are happy with come May and June, especially in cool season land, because that's what happens in the spring to grass. It grows. Now, that would be a somewhat clickbaity video and not overly helpful to anybody if that was all I gave you. So there are things that you can and should do in the spring. So let me walk around my property right now and tell you the things that you can consider doing if you have the time and desire that are going to help set you on the right path and moving in the right direction. So we start in behind me. This is the area where I get the most snow piles because all of that driveway snow gets pushed over here into this little area next to my landscaping, and so it gets a little bit matted down, and we can see I got a little bit of some snow mold damage. It's a little matted down, and so I could, if I felt so inclined, run a rake through there, and that would help a little bit, but I don't need to do that, and I'm not going to do that because, quite frankly, I don't want to. But something you can do is walk your property, find the areas like that that are matted down, just run a rake through them. You don't need to pull any material out, you don't need to do anything like that. Gentle rake, stand the blades back up, get some airflow. It will help, but not required. Second thing you can do is if you get a lot of leaves in the fall and you didn't quite get all of them, or you have some spots where the wind blew them and there's little, matted down areas, those will block the sun out. It will start to stunt the growth, and if you leave it there long enough, it will kill the plant. However, in the springtime, you're eventually going to have to mow. And by the time you're mowing, that means that's when your lawn has started growing. And once you mow, you get the leaves out of the way and it'll come back. Maybe it'll be a spot that is a little bit unsightly for a period of time, but I can promise you it's not going to die forever. It will come back. If this is a lot of your yard or it is very thick everywhere, I would start to escalate this up in the importance, but just a little spot like that, no issue. Since we're getting excited to do stuff outside and it's not necessarily time to do anything in the lawn yet, take a look at your landscaping beds. This one is brutal. It's got all the leaves in it. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. There are a bunch of weeds left in it. There's grass growing up through it. Lot of issues in this landscaping bed. So if you're looking for something to do, and I will do this once I get a day and it's warm and nice out, is I got to clean this up and get it ready for the year so that the landscaping's ready to go when the work does start to need to be done in the lawn. One thing that I not only believe is something that you don't have to do, but I don't believe you really even should do it, is really early in the year be looking to fertilize. It's going to come out and it's not going to be an issue. So let's talk about if your yard, if you're starting to concern yourself like, my yard isn't as green as my neighbor's, it's not coming out of dormancy, what should I do? Nothing. Let me show you. Different cultivars, different types of grass come out of dormancy at different speeds. So here is my Kentucky bluegrass front yard. I promise you, come May, this will look better than any other yard in my neighborhood. But right now, if we look over there to the part of my yard that was largely neglected last year, and we look across the street to my neighbor's house, those both look better. And now I could panic and I could fertilize heavily and I could do all these things to say like, I need to get out here and I need to dethatch. Nah, we're just gonna relax. I've seen this show before. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. It comes back. It looks unbelievable in May and I don't have to do anything to it but water if it doesn't rain. Snow mold issues. Do I need to rake that out? Do I need to clean it up? This green was almost exclusively snow mold. It's already almost come all the way back through and it will. We don't need to do anything with that. The one thing I am going to do, and for those of you that follow me for the golf course, I am going to run my Sun Joe with the more Scarify cartridge on it, just kind of scuff the grooves up, and I am going to actually overseed the putting green in the hopes that I can just get some of it to fill in. As you can see, when I expanded the green last year, back here is the previous green. Over here is the fairway seeding. And then down here, it's struggling a little bit. So that's pretty clear that none of my seed took last year when I did this. So I would like to get another seeding into there Get some seed on the green. And again, if you have areas in the spring that you want to overseed, absolutely go for it. Is it the easiest time of year to seed? No. Is it the best time of year to seed? No. And again, we're talking for cool season grass, but it's really no more or less difficult than anything else. It's just that seed will need a little bit of love, attention, and care in the summer when it starts to get hot. So like I said, I am going to run the scarifier over this. I'm going to throw some seed on it, and then we're going to use the rest of the stand up that I have here. We'll get a good top dress on it, and then we'll be ready for the year, and we'll just maintain it as we always have. The last big spring topic is pre-emergent and how important that is. And while I don't necessarily disagree, I'm going to be skipping a year of pre-emergent this year. Again, I don't have any grassy weed or any kind of weed problems that I need to address with a pre-emergent. And if I ever do see those start to come up, well, then the next year we'll get on the pre-emergent program. But I don't think that's something that's necessary. And well, not everything, but a lot of the things that are going to grow, that you're going to prevent with that pre-emergent, your crabgrass, some of those grassy weeds, you're going to be able to pick up with the post-emergent anyway. And if you're new coming in and trying to figure out what I need to do in the spring, well, come May, June, you're going to have to spray weeds anyway. So we'll just get something that will cover the crabgrass, some of those other weeds as well that germinated because you didn't do a pre-emergent. So again, this time of year, the Facebook groups, the forums, everything goes nuts on all the things that you have to do every spring in order to have a nice yard. And all I want to do is I want to be here and tell you that, hey, that's not required. You can just go out, watch for your yard to start growing, mow it when it needs it, water when it needs it, and you're going to be happy with the results. And we'll follow along to the stuff as we get more into the season that we can do to continue to improve our yard overall. So thank you so much for watching. As always, like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along to everything we're doing here in our lawn. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.